Okay. Name's Andy. Andy Day, Daisy to everybody that knows me, even work colleagues and that. It's stuck for many, many years, probably about 30 odd years now. Everybody calls me Daisy. And in fact, if someone calls me Andy, I don't turn around sometimes. You just get used to it. So daft as it is. But yeah, so that's my nickname that I answer to. I've been called many things as well, but there you go. Running, but live in Mansfield now. Probably tell from the dodgy accent that I'm from Birmingham originally. I can't actually tell. I've still got a Birmingham accent even, but everybody says I have. Moved up here sort of about 6 odd years back. Just moved further up the country as time's gone on. And then met my wife, who was sort of Farnsfield way, and we've now live in Mansfield, so that's where we're based. Run it here, sports history wise, if you want the whole thing. Yeah, I used to be a footballer till I was about 30 odd. Then a very keen cyclist, so I was a racing cyclist. Did road racing, time trial, stuff like that. Not bad. I won a few, not as many as winning running races, but yeah, used to enjoy that. And in fact, I never actually thought that I wouldn't be without a bike between my legs, as daft as it is. But moved on to triathlon and Ironman and stuff. And as we're running now, when you start something, or I start something, it's like, well, where could we go next? So you do an Olympic, and then you do a half Ironman, and you do a full Ironman, and then I did a double Ironman. But again, everybody that knows me will know that I hate swimming, and it's far from being my best discipline. And everybody would say, "Oh, it'll click, it'll click. You keep having it, one day it'll click." Well, it never clicked. So, for me, in an Ironman, 125 would be a fast swim, but the average half decent swimmer is going to be getting out in 55 minutes to an hour. So I was always playing catch up. Smaller races, it didn't matter, because I was a racing cyclist, it was almost like carrots. In fact, I did on one occasion come out almost last at the water and still ended up like on the podium, which was nice. But obviously as the race gets longer, you can't pull that time back, can you? So, but stopped at a double Ironman because, like I say, the swimming was just horrendous. And then moved on to running. And again, like we just says, so you run a half marathon, and then you think I'll run a marathon, and then you find out there's things called ultra marathons. It's like, oh, what's that? Let's give that a go. So that was probably about 2014 maybe. So I'm 54 now. So quite later on in life. But then I think a lot of runners do start later on in life, don't they? But yeah, so I did that, and I think one of the first ones we did was the Race to the Stones or something there, when I had a great idea of taking something like naproxen, because I thought that might help. Yeah, I know you're laughing. It's great idea at the time, because I thought that might ease off the pain, because obviously paracetamol becomes your friend a little bit, doesn't it, in races? But yeah, and I found out later, so I said to a friend, oh yeah, this is oh yeah, it sort of shuts the body down and stuff like that. So yeah, we got to about, because it must have been 100k, wasn't it, that one? So you got to about 42 miles, and all of a sudden, like, engine room said no. I wanted to go to sleep on the side of the grass and stuff like that. So I think we managed to get in the end in about 11 hours something or whatever, which was still fine. But yeah, I've been back since and done a lot better. But yeah, and then UTMB and that a couple of times. So I've just progressed over the years from then. But it was about 2014 where I sort of thought, instead of being jack of all trades and trying to continue with bike racing, triathlon and running, I've just stuck to this stuff now, so which I enjoy. So what have I done? Well, I've actually done 3, haven't I, thinking about it? But it's as we said earlier, to be honest, it's not my sort of favourite format or whatever, but I do like to push the boundaries a lot sometimes. I do like a lot of point-to-point races in hot countries. I was lucky enough, I haven't done one for a couple of years, because I didn't do yours last year. So it would have been the October, as we say, it's the sort of national teams that I'd got selected for to do that. But backing up from that, it was probably 2 years before that. So maybe 2020 when I did. That couldn't have been, that would have been, anyway, 2020, 2021, Suffolk Backyard Ultra. I did that 2 years in a row, which is obviously Lindley, as you probably know. So he puts on a great event there. So that's where I first got to the idea, after knowing Matty Blackburn, because he did it the year before, I think, when John did it. And then that was the years, again, we mentioned just off camera, where, I did 37 myself, which I was happy with at the time, because 37 was a decent figure, and, a couple of years back, wasn't it? And that gave me sort of, I know, third, didn't finish her, but, third on the list. And as we joked again, Matt and Johnny went on to do well, 80 and 81, didn't they? Which became the world record briefly for that time. So I got third place and they ran more than double my distance. So you sort of didn't want to tell people, but yeah, that was as good. And you can only run as, you can only do your best on your day, can't you? I've learned that over the years, back from being a bike racer. When you're younger as well and more foolish, and you'd beat yourself up. Oh, I missed that break, or he blocked me in the sprint and all that. So, but after that, you realise you can only give what you got on the day. Do your best. And you think, that's all I had today, whatever it was, and then go away, put it to bed and go on to the next. So, yeah, 37 that day. Quite enjoyed it. Again, that was in June. So, weather's a bit nicer, much more in tune with my, sunny perspective of, hot weather. And then went back next year to try and beat it and got to 41 that year. Had a hip issue that hasn't given me any issues since, but yeah, that was tightening up and stopped me from carrying on. So 41, and I think that gave me third loser again, like so. But that at the time, and actually as it stands at this minute, would still get me into this year's team. But 41 got me into the team's national things. Again, I didn't realise there was a thing like that as well, but that's great. So you have the individual world championships, obviously, every other year, and now they have the team event, and that was great because there was 15 of us again at Suffolk, funnily enough, that got to run there. And that was, as I said to you again before, it went on 2 weeks after Sparta, the Greek race, which I've loved and done 3 times. So we went there to run that and had to pull after 27. And like we said again, I found out I got COVID, didn't I, just after. So I was wondering why it was going sort of a bit south after a 100-mile. And then I thought, oh, maybe, 153 did take a lot out of me, which it did. But got back after and realised I was positive for COVID as well. So that's why the engine room suddenly ran out. But it was still great. Yeah, enjoyed it and met some good people through it because, as you know, with your events, a lot of the events you do the 6 hours because you see the same people lots and lots, don't you? With Backyard Ultra, that does give you that. So you do get to know people and see people and meet good friends. I've met a couple of good friends from Backyard at the first Suffolk. A couple of them have even been out to crew me at Spartathlon, like they became friends there. Dom, I know, who's coming back again this year, has become a good friend. And it's nice to sort of help other people during that race because obviously we've all got our different expectations. Even if you only do one loop, that's fine, but you can do as many as you like, and it's pushing your own barriers. So I'd met a couple like that was, I just want to get to 7, I just want to get to 8. And I've always liked to sort of help other people as well, so I take enjoyment from that. So yeah, it's nice to do that. And like I say, you don't, whereas in 100-mile races, you're sort of separated after a few miles, and you still be, again, I don't mind that either to a degree, but you cannot see anyone, can you, for the rest of the race? Whereas in this, every hour, it's like, oh, you again. Yeah, okay, let's have a chat, and off you go again. It doesn't matter, does it? You're all out to help each other. I think that's the beauty anyway of ultra running, that there's never been in triathlon and stuff. You do get that like bit of a hierarchy status or whatever the wording is. They're up there on the pedestal, or they are good, but they come across that way as well. Whereas in ultras, it's always been a lot more down to earth in it and just friendly, having a laugh. I mean, like we joked, Andy Simpson, who will be there again, probably if it's being played, he's still running around now, who likes to drink between many loops. And it's like, it's just light-hearted and fun, isn't it? Still pushing themselves. I mean, good athletes, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's more light-hearted and you all get to know each other and stuff. I mean, we did mention now, obviously, the yards are getting up there with the ridiculous, as it were, in relate to a lot of us mere mortals. So it's the goalposts have lengthened in relation to that, but it's still all a bit of fun and that, isn't it? Ultra running. Yeah, I've been I like to race. I do like to race. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us do, don't we? We do all that hard training and everything so that we can enjoy the racing. Because I like that aspect of it. I haven't raced, in answer to the question, since mid-November. No, early November. I went out to Morocco and did the 2-day stage race there, one of the Ultra Rex ones. And that was great as well because I hadn't done a stage race, as it were, before 2 days. So that was interesting because obviously you need to keep a little bit in reserve. And it was beautiful weather, of course, 30. So I was happy to do that, get a suntan and stuff. But I haven't raced since then. No. So it's just been ticking over. I had a bit of downtime afterwards when we got back, because same as when I was a racing cyclist, I was like, a few weeks off just to chill out, do nothing, or just run as and when, rather than thinking about the structure and the format. And I've got to run tomorrow, I've got to do that. It was just sort of as and when, nice and easy. And yeah, just been stepping it up since, probably around, I don't check exactly, but probably about 50-ish miles a week for the last few weeks. But with structuring now, so it's all being focused. I mean, my focus is all really aiming for Badwater in July. That's where I want to go and compete there, and try and end up in a good position. So, but no, looking forward to this. I am looking forward to it, but not looking forward to the weather. I will be honest with you.
It's definitely going to be a little bit nippy, but as long as it stays dry, I think most people will be happy.
Yeah. Well, I got friends that have just done the spine, and I'm like, I couldn't do it. Hands off to you lads. It's another animal. I mean, the terrain, navigation, all that. I get that part as well, but just the cold and all that. It's like I keep saying I want to do a cold race just to see if mentally I can. Because as we've said, mileage becomes the norm, as it were. The distance wise, as daft as it is. But actually, when I'm suffering really, really, really cold, could I carry on through it? Yeah, my friend Alan Anderson just did it, and he pulled out. He had to pull 4 miles from the finish.
Oh, that is painful.
Yeah. He said his body just gave out. He just couldn't go anymore, and he was 4 miles from the finish.
Oh, that's horrible.
Take that, it started Sunday morning did they start, and it must have been Saturday. It must have been Saturday sometime. But either way, he's gone through all that time, all that. I mean, I says, you're a winner anyway, regard. You know what I mean? Okay, he didn't touch the wall or whatever they're doing that, but to go 263 would it have been? Isn't it 267 or something like that, right?
It's about that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still an impressive feat.
Yeah, give me 100 miles in the Florida Keys like I did last summer, and I'm in my element there.
Yeah.
So no, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, you put great. I've done a 6-hour events, and I know you do loads of them. They're great for training and great for little races, really, as well. But and your parents there?
They'll be there. Yeah, mum will be making cake again.
It's just a good vibe. I remember, and I'm sure lots have mentioned it to you since that. Like when I come and supported last year, the setup that you got on that, it was really good. It was really nice and that. And I know you've got plans, well, with this, etc., and everything can live stream, all being well, if the stars align, to do that. And there's a couple of decent runners, like we've said. So hopefully we can put out a decent race there. Yeah, it should be good. I'm looking forward to seeing a couple of friends out there. Yeah, that would be quite cute. A duck-sized horse will go for.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna do a little tally as we go through all the interviews and just add up and work out what weird thing people prefer.
What random people think. Yeah.